Question is, did the fast work to resolve my tennis elbow injury? I am about to start a 5-day water fast and I wanted to share that experience with you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Agnieszka. I'm based in Toronto, Canada, and I ride bikes for transportation. The context is important because you will see me riding bikes in the video. Why am I doing this 5-day water fast? Well, I have an injury. It's a tennis elbow injury that is taking a while to heal. And while the injury recovery is heading in the right direction, I am a very impatient person when it comes to being injured and when it comes to pain. And as a result, in addition to working with a physiotherapist, an osteopath, and a sports medicine doctor, I have decided to enable my body to rest and heal through fasting. This is not the first time I will have fasted. I have done 24-hour fast, 3-day fast, but this will be my very first 5-day water fast. Now, as a woman, I think it's important to fast within the hormonal cycle. I've been following the teachings of Dr. Mindy Peltz, specifically this book. I will leave this book title and also her YouTube channel in the description below. Based on my previous experience with fasting and based on some of the benefits I've reaped as a result with various other injuries, I am hoping that there is going to be improvement in the general well-being of the injury. Regardless, at the very least, I am hoping that my body will come out of the 5-water fast optimized, that the inflammation that I'm able to reduce as a result of not eating, the added stem cell production, the cell autophagy, that all of that is going to allow me to heal internally and enable my body to deal with this injury in a lot more expedient fashion. As this is going to be a water fast, my main beverage of choice is going to be, surprise, surprise, water. Now, it's not water alone, it's going to be water with electrolytes. I use Element electrolytes. This is completely not sponsored. The reason I use these particular electrolytes is that they only have sodium, potassium, magnesium, no sugar. In my previous fast, I have experienced a lot of muscle fatigue, muscle cramping, and adding electrolytes to my water has resolved that. In addition to drinking water, I am going to be having black coffee. I have coffee in the morning and I will also have coffee mid-afternoon. The reason I am continuing drinking coffee is because I don't want to experience any coffee detox symptoms in addition to detoxing as my body heals through the fasting. The third thing I'm going to be drinking is green tea. And without further ado, let's jump straight into day one. Day one was mostly uneventful. I don't typically have breakfast, so my morning commute was as expected. Things got a bit more difficult at lunchtime. Not because I was hungry, I wasn't, but because everyone around me was eating and I was just smelling all their wonderful food. I did start getting hungry at around 4 p.m., so 21 hours into my fast. In a few minutes, I will have fasted for 48 hours, so day 2 of my 5-day fast is almost complete. And today was a bit of a rough day. I was actually expecting it to be a lot worse, which means that my body is just getting adapted or fat adapted quicker. So on day 2, into day 2 is when the body switches from burning sugar or glucose for fuel and hopefully into producing ketones and going into ketosis and burning fat for fuel. And that process for me is always a little bit challenging. And this is why I experience lethargy, so I feel a bit sluggish throughout the day, and I also experience headaches. Luckily for me, the headache was just a mild headache. It was just persistent throughout the day. I did ride into work. I was riding in turbo mode. Thank you, e-bike. It actually worked out really well that I was at work because that allowed me to focus less on being hungry and feeling sorry for myself for not eating and just focusing on work. Hopefully tomorrow, day 3, is going to bring with it a little bit more energy and a little bit less hunger. Beyond that, well, we'll see. It's day 3. I've fasted now for 60 hours and I'm feeling quite good. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning. I stayed in bed until 6, but really I just had a lot of energy this morning. What am I experiencing? A little bit of hunger, but overall feeling quite good. I've developed some sort of an eyelid twitch. Hopefully that improves throughout the day. And what a beautiful morning it is. It's currently 11 degrees. The temperature is meant to rise to about 27. So an unusual day. It's a layers kind of day. On my way to work, it's going to be a great day, and let's enjoy the views. Update from midday on day 3. I just finished my physiotherapy appointments. I had shockwave therapy and acupuncture on my elbow, or on the elbow area. What do I feel like? I am quite hungry. My stomach is gurgling. That is a first. I've not experienced this on previous fasts. I am also hyper alert. Hyper alert. Quite energetic. The energy has been consistent. It is about 12 p.m., shortly after 12 p.m., so I've been fasting for about 65 hours at this point. Feeling the hunger, but lots of energy, and I'm about to go shopping for food because we need to prep for that fast breaking on Sunday. In just a few minutes, I will have fasted for 72 hours or 3 complete days. Overall, day 3 went very well. I was quite energetic, hyper alert. I continued to be quite hungry throughout the day. I had a second coffee midday, and I think that was a mistake because it just made me hyper alert. I was getting a little bit cold throughout the day. Generally, a very good day, aside from the hunger, and let's see what tomorrow brings. Day 4 of my fast, and I am fading very quickly. I'm about 86 hours into my fast, and it's tough going. This morning I woke up and still woke up at 5, stayed in bed until about 8, and wow, the sluggishness. I feel in my body, I feel like my body is shriveling up inside. That's the best way I can describe it. Cognitively, I'm okay, but internally, I am struggling. Now, I'm on the way to meet up with friends. I am riding my bike, and today I have my folding bike, my small bike, that is under-geared, and it is a struggle to pedal. I will touch base with you later on in the day. It's shortly after 12 p.m. and I've now been fasting for about 89 hours, and I feel a lot better than I did this morning. That kind of pulling feeling that I felt when I woke up, that is all gone. I've since had a lot more water with electrolytes, and I've also had green tea. Also met up with some incredible people, and I feel a lot better. In terms of hunger, I don't feel much hunger. Excited to have this continue, and hopefully tomorrow is going to be a day full of energy. But not too bad as it is right now. There was a food festival in the area, and as my favorite obsession while fasting is food, I had to walk through and test my mental resolve. I wanted to address whether or not the fast has had any impact on the recovery of my tennis elbow, and so far, day 4, I don't feel any difference. What I forgot about, however, is an injury I've been nursing since 2024, and that's the left elbow injury. When I was on a bike tour in Poland, I had fallen and I injured my elbow. As a result, there's been some residual pain that has just not gone away. And the pain would only show up when I put pressure on the elbow. What I noticed this morning is there's no pain. Let me show you, I am putting a lot of pressure on my elbow and there's nothing. There's no pain. So there we go. Something has resolved itself. Will it be permanent? Based on what I've experienced in the past, I think this will be permanent. So, one injury resolved. Let's wait until day 5 and perhaps after day 5 to see if there is any improvement in the tennis elbow situation. Every day during the fast, I continued doing the strengthening exercises my physiotherapist had assigned to me to support the recovery process. There was absolutely no reason for me to stop them. I have now fasted for 4 full days, 96 plus hours. That is incredible. I took notes because I don't want to forget what I want to share with you. Day started off not very well. I was experiencing a lot of internal body discomfort. I also had shivers, and I had a general feeling of being cold, especially in the morning and then later on in the afternoon as well. I also experienced some nausea, and that was also happening in the morning and the afternoon, so perhaps the nausea and the shivers and feeling of cold were connected somehow. Something that I didn't mention on day 2 is that I got a few blemishes on my face. Now, I don't typically have any acne on my face, so I think that the blemishes were due to the body detoxing. I also tested for ketones, and here's how it went. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got ketones. Lots and lots of ketones, which explains why I am no longer hungry. This means that my body is now using fat as fuel. This is incredibly exciting. All right, day 5 is just around the corner and I am thrilled. I am so excited that tomorrow at 7 p.m. I am going to be breaking my fast. So I am hoping for a great day tomorrow. Only time will tell. It is day 5 and I have now fasted for 113 hours. And the short of it is, I feel great. When I woke up this morning, I didn't feel stiff like I usually do. I have chronic back pain, so my back is typically stiff. None of that. I didn't feel any stiffness in the elbow, that is the injured elbow, which was really surprising. Overall, my body is feeling very fluid. My joints feel like they've been oiled. I feel quite light, and once again, there is no pain. Now, I have gotten used to having some sort of pain in my body, which is persistent. So to not have any pain is really quite odd. Overall, I feel very serene, very peaceful, very content. My mind is sharp. Cognitively, I am on point today. And you would think that after 4 days of not eating, I would be very hungry, but I'm not. I am in ketosis. I tested my ketones this morning, and there's just no pangs of hunger. Nothing. I feel completely fine. So this has been a magnificent start to day 5. But as good as it has been, I am so keen to break my fast at 7 p.m. tonight. 5 days, 120 hours, and I have been fantasizing about this moment for days now. I have just broken my 5-day water fast with a cup of bone broth. Breaking a fast is a very slow experience for me, and I always start with the bone broth. I will then introduce food later on in the day. However, because it's already 7 p.m., I am most likely not going to eat anything until tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, I am going to have an avocado with sauerkraut or perhaps kimchi. I have choices to ensure that I feed my microbiome, my gut, and enable it to come back with a lot of good bacteria. My digestion has not been functioning for the last 4 days. And because of that, I need to be very slow and very calculated in how I introduce food to prevent any unnecessary complications, which I've run into in the past. What has the experience been like? A lot of up and downs. Day 1 was relatively good because I have experience with 24-hour fasts. Day 2 was a bit of a downer. Day 3 brought with it a ton of energy, a ton of mental clarity. Day 4 was surprising in that I woke up with a lot of discomfort in my body, but it improved throughout the day. Day 5 today was the best of them all in that I woke up very peaceful, very still. I mentioned my body felt very fluid. But the biggest question is, did the fast work to resolve my tennis elbow injury? Give me a moment as I take another sip. I would say partially yes. There is certainly a lot less tension in the elbow area. I used to have this band of pain, as it were, that was persistent, especially so in the morning. That no longer is the case. To this day, when I make movements that aggravate the tennis elbow injury, there is a tiny bit of feedback from my body that indicates that the injury has not healed fully. But I believe that as I continue working with my physiotherapist and my osteopath, and as I continue doing my daily exercises, this elbow is going to resolve a lot quicker than it potentially could have without the fast. Would I do this 5-day water fast again? Yes, I would. It is not easy, but it is possible. A lot of the time, it is about having that mental resolve of pushing through the hard times, because there certainly are the hard times, and just continuing on and believing in the process. Now, at this point, I could easily go on for another 2 days and complete a 7-day water fast. But I do have a work commitment in a couple of days, and breaking a fast at a work commitment would be a little bit more difficult in the manner that I want to break the fast in. So cheers to our health, everyone. If you have completed a water fast, please let me know how you did, how long you did, what your results were like. I would love to learn from you as well. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. I appreciate your time, and let's have a cup of bone broth.